Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this video. I'm your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series Nails in a Coffin, where we learn that with great kills, there must also come great nails. We're staying at the Pinehurst Halfway House this week, which is close by Camp Crystal Lake, and we're at a new beginning. Here's a summary of the average nails in a coffin for the first 4 movies I've covered. Friday the 13th had an average of 1.7 nails. Friday the 13th Part 2 had an average of 1.9. Friday Part 3 had an average of 1.8 nails. And Friday the 13th Part 4 had the highest average yet with 2 nails in a coffin. We saw Jason die at the hands of Tommy Jarvis at the end of Part 4, but it looks like we still have a hockey mask killer lurking around. I didn't hear anything. Okay, that's good news. Well, let's get on to it. This movie has the highest body count yet, so let's get started. Have some enchiladas, take a seat, and let's put some nails in a coffin for Friday the 13th Part 5. There are 2 kills just 3 minutes into the movie, but they're part of Tommy's dream, and I'm not going to count them. So, the first official kill that was not in a dream is Joey. He was talking to Vic at the Pinehurst Halfway House, and Vic was chopping wood. Joey was just trying to be nice to him, offers him some chocolate, just trying to be friendly. Well, Vic is a maniac, and he gets mad at Joey for bothering him, and as soon as Joey turns around, Vic kills him with multiple axe swings to the back. I'm going to give Joey 2 nails in a coffin. I didn't see anything that he really did wrong. Unfortunately, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time and was killed by an unstable lunatic. He wasn't given any chance. He was attacked from behind. And yeah, I didn't see anything he did wrong. So for the first kill in Friday the 13th Part 5, I'm going to give Joey 2 nails in the coffin. Vinnie is next up. He was trying to help Pete fix his car, and Pete goes to use the bathroom out in the woods. And Vinnie is under the hood working on it. He turns around to see a figure holding a road flare. But he thinks it's Pete, but it's actually this movie's Jason. That's embarrassing. I gotta edit this out. Hello, Uncle Pete. May I actually speaking, please? How you doing, Mrs. Burns? How can I help you? Excuse me? Roy? Sorry, I don't know any Roy, Mrs. Burns. By the way, how did you get this number? Hello? Hello? That was weird. Where were we? Oh yeah, Vinny. Like I said, Vinny was working under the hood, and he sees a figure holding a road flare. He thinks it's Pete, but as soon as Vinny recognizes it's not Pete, Jason takes the road flare and just jams it into Vinny's mouth, killing him. In this case, I'm giving Vinny 1 nail in the coffin. He had no reflexes, no reaction at all. Yeah, I understand he couldn't see who it was because of the light from the road flare. But Jason was able to just take the road flare and stick it in Vinny's mouth. Vinny didn't flinch or move or do anything, like he had no natural reflexes. So for that case, Vinny, you're getting 1 nail in the coffin. His buddy Pete dies right after him. Pete gets back to the car and tries to start it. He thinks Vinny is still working on the hood. Well, as Pete's trying to start the car, it eventually starts, and Vinny gets excited that the car starts, but as soon as this happened, Jason was in the back seat. He grabs Pete's head back and slashes his throat with the machete. I'm going to award Pete 2 nails in a coffin. He thought Vinny was still working on the car while Jason was in the back seat, and he had his head grabbed, and with 1 or 2 seconds later, after his head was grabbed and pulled back, he had his throat slit. I didn't see too much time where he could have done anything, and when he came back from using the bathroom, I could see how he would not have checked the back seat. So, taking everything in consideration from that, I'm going to give Pete 2 nails in the coffin. Billy dies next. Billy was about to go on a date with Lana. He's sitting in the car waiting for his date Lana to get off work. He sticks his head out of the car door, calling for her, asking her to hurry up and whatnot. Well, as soon as he does this, Jason was standing behind him, and he takes an axe and slams it into the top of Billy's head, killing him brutally. I'm going to give Billy 2 nails in a coffin. He didn't see this coming at all. He probably never knew what hit them. He was just sitting in his car waiting for his date and stuck his head out of the door to call for her, and he had an axe brought down into the top of his head. Like I said, he didn't even know what hit him, so in this case, Billy, I'm going to give you 2 nails in the coffin. Billy's date Lana is next. She finishes up at work, and she gets into Billy's car, but he's not there. She's looking around, and she sees some of Billy's nose candy, and she picks it up for a nice little toot. Well, then she looks out at her car door and sees Jason standing there with a bloody axe. She freaks out, and she goes to the passenger side door, and as soon as she's able to get the door open and gets outside, she gets an axe to the chest. I'm going to give Lana 2 nails in a coffin. I was close to giving her 1 since she couldn't get her door open, but I could see how she was panicking at the moment, And even if she did get her door open, I don't think she would have had much of a chance anyways, since Jason was already on the other side of the car as soon as he saw her go out that way. I was close to giving her 1 nail, but I'm going to be a little generous with this one and give Lana 2 nails in the coffin. A little later on in the movie, Raymond is next to die. He was standing in the woods, hiding behind a tree, watching Tina and Eddie get it on. He was just being a peeping Tom or a creeper. Well, he's watching them get it on, and he goes to leave and turns around. And the second he turns around, he gets stabbed in the stomach with a large knife by Jason. I'm going to give Raymond 2 nails in the coffin. He was being a creep, but if you watch the scene, as soon as he turns around and sees somebody there standing in front of him, he gets a knife to the stomach. And as soon as the knife was in his stomach, his arms did go there. Like, he did at least had a reaction, like, to try and stop the movement or whatnot, but he just wasn't fast enough. So at least he tried something, and he definitely didn't deserve 1 nail. But since it was such a quick kill, he didn't have much of a chance. I'm going to give Raymond 2 nails in the coffin. Raymond was watching Tina and Eddie making some friends on a blanket in the middle of the woods. Well, they get finished. Eddie goes to go get cleaned up while Tina is laying naked on a blanket with her eyes closed. She's just relaxing until she opens her eyes and sees Jason standing above her with large hedge clippers, and she screams, and the second she screams, Jason brings the hedge clippers down into her eye sockets and clamps it shut, killing her in a vicious, vicious way. I'm going to give Tina 2 nails in a coffin. If she heard somebody walking towards her, she probably thought it was Eddie since, they were just together. And as soon as she opened her eyes, she did scream, and the second she screamed, she had those hedge clippers brought down into her eye sockets, killing her, and she probably didn't have much of a chance anyways, because Jason was pretty quick with this kill. So, taking everything into consideration, like always, I'm going to give Tina 2 nails in the coffin. Tina's boyfriend, Eddie, dies right after her. He gets back to where they were fooling around, and he sees that Tina has been killed. He's in shock. He stands up and backs up into a tree. The second he backs up into a tree, Jason takes a leather strap, wraps it around a tree and Eddie's eyes. Then he takes a stick, quick, tightening down until Eddie dies in a very painful way. In this one, I'm going to give Eddie's painful death 1 nail in the coffin. As soon as he had the strap on his face, Jason did try, he started, I should say, to tighten it down. Eddie did put his hands up at the strap, but he could have ducked down or something. I don't think there was enough time that Jason could have cranked it down that tight that all Eddie had to do was get it over his eyes up onto his forehead, and then he could have popped out a little bit. And even towards the end, you don't even see his arms anymore. He's just screaming. So he was still alive, but I didn't see him really try and pull the straps or do anything. So, Eddie, you're only going to get 1 nail in the coffin. Our next kill is my favorite character in the movie, Demon, played wonderfully by Miguel Nunez, who was Spider in Return of the Living Dead. And to me, he'll always be Spider since Return of the Living Dead is my favorite movie of all time. So, Demon had something to eat.
Some damn enchiladas!
And it didn't really agree with his stomach, so he had to go run to an outhouse. He's sitting in that house, and he starts serenading his girlfriend, Anita.
Ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh, baby.
And after he finishes serenading her while he was going poop, well, he goes to open the door to the outhouse, and he sees Anita's body there with her throat slashed. Anita was killed off screen. We don't know how she was killed or what exactly happened to her, so we're not going to be able to give her any nails. But when Demon sees the body, he goes back in the outhouse, and Jason is taking a large metal spike, jamming it through all different sides of the outhouse. He eventually gets Demon in the leg. Demon sits down, and then Jason gets the spike through the outhouse door, through Demon's chest, killing him. I hate to do this, Miguel, but I'm going to have to give his character, Demon, 1 nail in the coffin. I can understand he was freaked out when he opened the door and saw his girlfriend's body, but he went back in the outhouse, and he knew somebody was shortly outside it. He could have busted that door open and ran. I don't think her body was blocking the door to the outhouse, because when he ran in, you can see it was at least a foot off the ground, the door. So I don't see how she could have been blocking it. He could have shoved it really hard to get out. He probably had adrenaline pumping, but he chose to go back inside that house, putting his back towards the wall where Jason was taking large metal spikes and jamming it in, and then he sits down with his back towards the wall. So it wasn't really smart at all. So for this there, Miguel, I'm giving Demon 1 nail in the coffin. Next up is Junior Hubbard. He was riding his motorcycle in his yard, doing donuts in it, screaming and crying. He was really upset because he had gotten beaten up by Tommy Jarvis earlier on in the day. So he's upset, doing circles on his bike. His mom, Ethel, is yelling at him. He's screaming, not paying attention to what's going on, and as soon as he passes a tree, Jason is hiding behind a tree. He takes a large cleaver, sticks it out, and cuts Junior's head right off. Junior was an annoying man-child, but I'm still going to give him 2 nails in a coffin. He was driving recklessly, but I don't think he had any inclination. Somebody would, stick a large bladed weapon out and try and cut his head off. He was upset and crying, acting like an immature baby, but I don't think that he did enough that he deserves 1 nail in the coffin. Didn't really see what happened to him, didn't know what hit him, so Junior, you're going to get 2 nails in the coffin. Junior Mama's Ethel dies right after him. She's cooking some nasty-looking stew, looking outside the window, calling for Junior. But before she even knows what hits her, Jason takes that same meat cleaver he killed her son with and breaks through the window and jams it right into the top of Ethel's head. I'm going to give Ethel 2 nails in the coffin because before she even knew what happened to her, she had a cleaver in the face and she was dead. She was just calling for her son, looking out the window like she probably did every single day. And yeah, Jason out of nowhere takes the cleaver, goes through the window, and goes through her head. So she didn't have much of a chance in this case. So Ethel, you're going to get 2 nails in the coffin. We're at Jake now, and he was trying to talk to Violet in her room, but she yelled at him to get out. He's kind of feeling down and depressed, down in the dumps, and he's looking down at the ground, standing by her door. Well, as soon as he turns to go walk down the hallway, what does he see? Jason standing there with a cleaver over his head. Jake looks up, sees this weapon, and just in time for Jason to bring said weapon down into the middle of Jake's head. Jake was feeling dejected, but I'm sorry to say I'm only going to give him 1 nail in the coffin. He walked into somebody standing there in the hallway. I don't know, again, I don't have peripheral vision. But as soon as he sees somebody standing there with the weapon, he looks up and he just kind of froze. Yes, Jason did bring it down pretty quick, but I think your body has a natural flinch reaction, when something is coming at you. It's a natural reflex. Jake didn't have any of this. His arms didn't try and come up. His head didn't move up or nothing. He just kind of saw the Jason standing there with the weapon and froze. So, yeah, I don't think he deserves 2 nails in the coffin. But, Jake, I'm going to give you 1 nail. The kills are starting to rack up. So, we're up to Robin now, and she's laying in bed where she sees Jake's corpse. She screams and rolls over, but the second she does this, Jason, who is hiding under the bed, grabs her from underneath the bed and impales her with the machete going through the mattress and her. In a kill very similar to Kevin Bacon's from the first Friday the 13th. Like I said, we've seen this kill before, and I've given those kills 2 nails, and I'm going to give Robin 2 nails also. She had no time to react. She saw a dead body there, and she did scream, and she did move to, go get away, but she was grabbed from underneath the bed, and then before she even had time to even scream again, she was impaled and killed. So just like those other kills, I'm going to give Robin 2 nails. The amazing dancer Violet is next to get nailed. She's next to die. She's dancing in her room, not paying attention. She's doing a pretty cool robot, but Jason sneaks up behind her. She turns around, sees Jason there. He immediately grabs her by the throat, lifts her up against the wall, and stabs her through the stomach with his machete. I like Violet, but I'm only going to give her 1 nail in the coffin. She had no peripheral vision at all. When she was dancing in her room, Jason was to her side at some times, and I don't understand how people in movies don't have any type of peripheral vision. She did, she didn't have a chance to scream when Jason grabbed her around the neck, but again, this is another person where I think they really forget they have arms, because nobody goes to claw at the face, try and, peel the hand away, try and do anything. So similar kills like this one, yeah, Violet, I'm only going to give you 1 nail in the coffin. We have 3 more deaths, but they were all off screen when Pam found the bodies. So Duke, Dr. Matthew Letter, and George were all killed by Jason. They all happened off screen. We don't know what happened, so we're not going to be able to give any of those people any nails. We're at our final death in Friday the 13th, Part 5. And if you've seen this movie before, we all know it wasn't Jason doing the killing, but Roy Burns, the paramedic from the beginning of the movie. Joey was his son, and he just wanted to get revenge on everybody that he kind of blamed for the death of his son, Joey. So we're at the climax of the film where Roy is fighting with Pam, Reggie, and Tommy in the barn, which is pretty common for Friday the 13th movies. He was attacking Pam, but Reggie jumps from nowhere and was able to knock Roy over the outside ledge of the barn. He's still hanging on there, grabbing at Reggie's leg, but Tommy grabs a machete and he's able to lop Roy's arm right off, and he falls down to the ground below, being impaled on large tracting harrows. Our final nails are going to go to Roy, but I'm only going to give him one nail in the coffin. True, he had killed 17 people up to this point, so he kind of knew what he was doing in that case, but I think he got real sloppy at the end. Earlier on in the climax, before they got to the barn, he just stood there and let Reggie hit him with the tractor. These tractors don't drive that fast, and he had time to move, jump, dodge out of the way, but he just stood there and allowed himself to get hit with a large piece of farm equipment, which probably slowed him down for, this final fight with Pam. He was, fighting around with her. I think he could have been more aggressive, trying to kill her. Looked like he was just messing around, more or less. Reggie was able to knock him over the side of the barn, and Roy probably could have dropped his arms down and tried to at least land on his feet, because it was only about a story up or so. But he was more concerned with getting at Reggie, and Tommy was able to go over there, chop his arm off, and he got impaled on a bunch of farm harrows. So I think he was a poor excuse for a Jason. Not really great at the end, didn't put up a good fight at all. So Roy, you're getting one nail in the coffin. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my nails in a coffin. Here's a quick look at the summary of all the nails I've awarded. Here's a look at the average nails in a coffin for the first 5 movies I've covered. Friday the 13th had an average of 1.7 nails. Part 2 had an average of 1.9. Friday the 13th Part 3 in the third dimension gave us 1.8 nails. Friday the 13th Part 4 gave us 2 nails in a coffin. And we just learned that Friday the 13th Part 5 had an average of 1.6 nails in a coffin. Be sure to come back here next week for Nails in a Coffin 4, Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you're enjoying this, I really appreciate it. Thanks for checking out this video. So please hit that subscribe button and share this video around. Also, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video while we're staying at Camp Crystal Lake for the summer. Thank you for watching this video, and it looks like I made it all the way through this video without hearing any of those noises. Great. Maybe Jason really is gone for good now. So, I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and remember, son of a